What's up, guys? How's it going? I'm just checking in. Another Monday afternoon check-in here in the squad and on YouTube. This is streaming both on our private Facebook group and on YouTube. So how's it going, guys? It's been a long week, very productive. Especially for me here and from PodVod. This previous episode that just dropped today, I interviewed with Perez Hilton, was on the show, and he dropped some value about the importance of vodcasting and video, introducing video into your podcast and going live, basically to start monetizing your show right off the bat. And I thought that was pretty interesting because a lot of people I've spoken to have said that, you know, you should wait until you build up your audience. You should wait until you reach that magic number of 1,000 downloads per episode to try to find a sponsor, to try to monetize your podcast. But he says that everybody should be doing it right off the bat. And which was actually really great because, you know, I don't see anything wrong with trying to monetize right off the bat. I mean, if you're only doing this for a hobby and you're not looking to make any money off of it, then that's great. That's fine. But yeah, if you're wanting to eventually maybe turn this into a business, then, you know, I think it'd be a great idea to start monetizing right off the bat and do affiliate work. You know, work as an affiliate, promote other people's products, sign up for programs like Amazon, you know, and just put stuff out there that is relevant to your niche, you know. So, you know, if you're a movie podcast, you know, it doesn't make sense for you to promote sports memorabilia, let's say, or, you know, so stick within your niche, and I think it'll work out fine. So now the purpose of this is to not only give you guys the Monday update on what's going on here in the squad, or you know, just to check in, but today I decided to do things a little differently, and we're gonna go on Clubhouse and play around, see if we can start a room, and maybe start a conversation with a bunch of people. What do you think? Let's see here. All right, guys. So if you want to join me on Clubhouse, my handle is @Vodcast. So if you're on Vodcast, if you're on Clubhouse, give me a search and give me a follow. So yeah, let's ping a couple people to the room. Let's see who's available here. Travis is online. Hey, Billy. Let's get Billy up here. Hey, Billy, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm at the DMV, but I'll chime in when I can here in a minute.
You're at the DMV. That's fine. I'm actually live streaming this right now in the private Facebook group and on YouTube. So I'm just giving this a shot. Emily, I'm going to give you an invite. Let's see. Now, the purpose of this room is that I wanted to create a room that's about live streaming and vodcasting, anything that has to do with video, introducing video to your podcast. And, it's just, and I wanted to talk about some of the benefits with a bunch of other podcasters. Let's see if I could ping some other guys to the room here. Chris. All right. Let's get Roman, Pedro. Where is he? Dub.
Yeah, I just pinged a bunch of people too, so
Awesome.
maybe they'll come in.
Awesome. So you're at the DMV, huh?
Yeah, man, I'm renewing my registration. Paying all those taxes over and over and over again.
Well, I hope the audio is going through good where people can actually hear you on the live stream. Jason, how's it going, man? Sent you an invite to speak. Emily, I sent you an invite if you'd like to come up on stage. This is a live show. Jason, just so you know that this is a live show. I am streaming on Facebook right now and YouTube. So just give you a heads up.
Cool. Yeah. Let me step aside here and throw a headset on.
You busy? You're at work? I know it's the middle of the day.
I'm not working right now.
Oh, okay. I apologize if anybody hears children screaming. I have children. They are upstairs. They are home at the moment. So
I'm not working right now.
Oh, okay. All right. So the audio is working. Let's invite him up. Babatunji, I'm sorry if I'm destroying that.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. I just saw the title and I thought I'll pop in and have a listen. So I'm just going to mute myself and have a listen. And then if I do have any question or contribution, I will speak up.
Absolutely. I'm just letting you know right now that we are streaming live on Facebook. I have a camera on me and the audio from Clubhouse is going into the stream. So just so you know, I am streaming on live on Facebook right now. So do you have any video element into your show? Do you run a podcast? Let's see.
I'm just starting.
Just starting. Awesome. Very awesome. What stage are you at in development?
I'm really just putting the idea together and looking to record a few interviews sometime this week or next.
What's your show about?
It's about dads, work-life balance for dads.
Nice. Very nice.
All right, I'm all set up over here. How you doing?
Good, Jason. How's it going with you?
It's going all right. I'm a little injured today, so I'm not going anywhere.
Oh man, you all right?
I hurt my foot, so it's just gonna. That's one way to eat up my day off.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, Jason, I've been seeing your posts on Facebook and basically social media, and you look like you are kicking some ass on, as far as live streaming and video goes, and Man, like I see pictures of your setup and I'm jealous. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, the mobile setup is making me money right now, which is great. And I've got a home setup coming in. If Amazon is to be believed, we should see the desk tomorrow.
Hello, Helen. How are you?
What's up, y'all? I thank you so much, Billy, for pinging me because this is a question on live streaming that I've had for a while now. So thanks.
Well, what's your question?
Well, I've been doing podcasts. I have about 40 episodes now, and I just wanted to ask, live streaming is different because you're literally live. You can say something horrible and it'll pick up on the camera. So I guess my question is, what skills do you have to develop before you actually start live streaming? Like what skills are necessary from your experience?
For me, honestly, some of the habits that I didn't have before I started, you know, it was kind of like where I got in front of the camera and, you know, I would look at my computer screen off to the side and, you know, normally, you know, you want to connect with that audience, you know, so you want to stare into the camera. You want to just, I guess, train yourself into connecting and trying to make that connection with the audience as far as breaking that third wall, kind of, you know what I mean? And anything that you learn, I think the more experience, the more time you do this, you know, the more experience you're going to get and you'll just get used to it. Just so everybody is aware, I am live streaming right now on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're not comfortable with that, I guess don't accept the invite or you can just listen in. But I am streaming right now, live streaming on Facebook and YouTube.
I've just got something quick to say to, I believe it was Helen, and it's my experience. And sometimes when I go live, I used to be serious, scripted, formal, but I then found out just to be myself, speak the way I speak, almost like I'm having a conversation with a friend, and I realized that connects better with the audience, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Tanner, do you have anything to say about that?
Sorry, buddy. I was setting up my 3 o'clock. About performing better on a live stream?
Yeah.
Well, part of what I think, I wasn't looking at the screen, was it Babatunji that was saying that what just got said about being yourself?
Right.
You know, the fear is, and I could hear it, Helen, in what you asked, was, you know, you could say something terrible on camera and then it's just there. I think having a really clear view of having clarity on what your mission is, having clarity on what it is you're trying to accomplish goes a long way to prevent things like that from happening. But also just generally not having a fear of making a misstep. I know that's kind of hard in today's society to, you know, say something that you mean one way, but is construed one of any other dozen ways someone might construe it. And there's a fear with that. But, you know, the people who appreciate what you're doing and are, you know, looking for the value you're bringing, they're not going to hold you, hold it against you for making mistakes like that, because they'll trust and believe in the purpose that you're, you know, that you're showing up for. Those are mostly the trolls and the internet keyboard warriors and the hashtag activists that you're really worried about with things like that. And those people don't really matter. Not to me anyway, and probably not to you.
Yeah, there is a lot of fear for me, Tanner. You're right. I think I was actually asking Raf this a couple days ago when he did a club talk on it, and I think you answered a lot of my fear. So thanks. Gave me some courage.
Awesome. Well, just to give you guys an update, this room is all about live streaming and vodcasting. I am live streaming right now on Facebook and YouTube. just so everybody is aware. If you're not comfortable with that, you can just listen in and not participate. Raphael, how's it going? Introduce yourself and tell us about your show if you have any questions.
Well, hello there, everyone. My name is Rafael Di Furia. I am an Italian American who has decided to make his life back in Italy. I have a video series and video podcast series that I host on YouTube that goes by my own name, Rafael Di Furia, or Not Your Average Globetrotter. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of here to hang out. I saw there was a couple familiar names in here, and so I thought I'd come out and just hang out. And actually, Helen, I happened to see your message. I didn't have a chance to respond to you earlier, so that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to pop in here. Because one thing that I know has helped me, it's probably going to sound like the most ridiculous thing for live streaming and getting used to try and be in that space. Actually, let me hit that point in just a second. But if you're already podcasting, you're already public speaking, you're already somebody who has an idea of presenting information. And if you're somebody who's presented publicly in front of people, then this helps you even more. But getting back to that point I interrupted myself with, something that helped me is actually hopping on Twitch and doing a little bit of live streaming of gaming and just playing. Because the thing is, you have the fallback of the game, and that is relevant to the conversation that you're having with your viewers. So for those first few times that I was really trying that live streaming thing, it's like I was trying to figure out what's that little shtick that I can use so that I'm not relying that full time on having to present myself and present my words, where maybe I could be streaming music or I could be streaming a game. It's just, you have to figure out what can work for you. And then taking it back to even what Tanner was saying, which I think is the best point, is that you have to make sure you have a plan of action, at least on some level, and maybe some bullet points that you want to hit if you're not scripting it out completely. And scripting to begin with, if you're trying to be live, defeats the whole purpose.
That is great advice, Raphael. You know, it was funny, Raphael, yesterday I was in a room with you and Tanner and everybody, and you know, you had mentioned that you are from Italy, and I think that's awesome, man. Where in Italy are you from?
Actually, we have two people here in Italy. I don't know if the other person will want me to say, but Emily down in the audience is also here in Italy. But where I happen to be is in the Veneto region, say about 45-ish minutes away from Venice. So kind of halfway between Venice and Bologna, kind of in the same little area.
Nice. Very nice.
I got a question.
What's up?
John, are you like on an airplane? Are you on the beach? Are you in the bathroom? What are you doing?
No, I'm actually in the studio right now, but I do have a steam pipe here that goes on and off every now and then. So, you know, it's kind of cold here. So, you know, my studio has the heat for the building running through it. So it'll go off in a minute.
Okay. It's just the loudest studio I've ever heard. This is my first time being in a room, so I'm just curious of how this thing works. And I'm like,
yeah, no, it'll go off.
Okay. So I didn't know if we're supposed to do this while we're in the bathroom or if everyone has different setups or whatever. So
no, I mean, hey, if you are in the bathroom, that's cool, you know, and everybody has a special kind of studio, I guess. But
that's why I do podcasting. That's why I do podcasting, man.
That's right. All right, Danny, introduce yourself and tell us about your show. Do you have any questions?
Hey everyone, Danny right here. I am the owner and operator of Right Relations. We are a branding and communications firm based in Cleveland, Ohio. Hopped in here following my buddy Tanner. I Clubhouse stalk him quite often, so when I see him pop up in a room, I frequently tap in and listen to what he has to say because he's extremely knowledgeable. So I am just following Tanner today. So Tanner, you can expect me to be in your 3 o'clock session as well.
Thanks, Danny. That's very sweet.
I don't have a show anymore. I used to run a network, an online radio network through Spreaker. And we had, my partner and I, we had 3 shows of our own, and we had 4 different hosts that had their own shows. And I would say, and I say this, and Tanner knows, I'm huge on strategic planning. And so I think that when you're doing anything, treat it like a business and make sure that you have a strategy to review on a monthly basis, to look at and make sure that everything you say you're going to do, you're taking actionable steps to do it. And that everything is realistic as well. You know, a lot of times we start podcasts, we start shows, we start live streaming, we start projects in general. And because we don't have a firm grasp on what we're doing, or even what we're supposed to do, it may not be your lane at all to do what you say you're doing. So understanding who you are, why you do what you do, and really what you have to offer is extremely important, especially when you're starting a podcast or live streaming, because it takes a lot of work, and listeners are very keen and in tune with when we are disorganized and unprepared. So I would definitely say have a strategic plan in place, and make sure that you are able to measure every goal, and make sure you're being successful.
Absolutely. I think a good, maybe keep a calendar of what you plan to come out with, and staying organized is really a great way to strategically attack live streaming and really vodcasting also. You know, if you have a planner, you know, and plan out your content, I think you won't have to worry, and you won't have to shoot off the hip kind of, you know, and I think it'll help you out tremendously. But go ahead, Billy. Sorry.
Oh, hey, what's up, John? Thanks for thanks for waiting on me. I was at the DMV when I came up there, so appreciate the room and what you're doing.
No, man. I just seen the opportunity to start a room. I haven't really seen many rooms on here on Clubhouse about vodcasting, live streaming. A lot of it's been mainly about, you know, just in generally podcasting. And if it comes up in topic, it comes up. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like Raphael. Like I was in a room with him yesterday, you know, and he is very knowledgeable. Tanner is very knowledgeable. You especially, Billy. Like, oh my God, like you guys, like she said that she was following Tanner around, you know, and she only came into the room because of Tanner. And I believe that because Tanner is like so popular on here. Like every time I see him, every time I open up the Clubhouse app, he's on here, and he's on here with Roman and Pedro. You know, it's like, to me, I call them the Holy Trinity of Clubhouse, you know, so, but,
those guys have got it locked down.
They really do. They really do, you know. But so I know a majority of the people that are in here have actually live streamed and have video content up on YouTube. What would you guys say to scheduling and keeping a schedule to your content?
Oh yeah, man. I think the success is the pregame. You know, it's like if you don't prepare, man, it's just like a big failure. And I've done that a couple of different times, you know, like, oh, I'm going to start this channel or whatever. And I didn't pregame and prepare for anything. And I just didn't have anything to hold myself accountable to. But when you have a content calendar, and you even down to like just shoot dates and times, like if you just put it on your calendar, and I think time blocking is huge, especially if you're like majority of people who are podcasting or live streaming. It's like, and they got full-time jobs and all this, but just put it on your calendar, you know, let your family know, be open communication. Like, hey, here's the dates and times I'm going to be, you know, recording, building my content, like really get a vision for what you're doing, because I think it makes all the, you know, everybody looks at YouTubers and all this, and especially in YouTube land, it's like, oh, if I get 1,000 subs, like I can then monetize through YouTube, and that's a great success. But it's like, what about 10 subs? What about 20, 50? Like, where's the micro wins? Like, have a beer when you get to 50 and a beer when you get to 150, and like enjoy the creative process. And so on our podcast, I co-host a podcast and I do a solo podcast, but on the one I co-host, every Thursday night, we're recording 3 episodes, a minimum 3 episodes. Sure, people bail, whatever, because we're interviewing, but that's the expectation. My family knows it. My friends know it. Like, Thursday is the day that, I'm shooting personal stuff. Now, I have a recording studio, podcast live stream studio. So I'm going right now to record some other folks, but for myself, it's on the family calendar. And so I think it's huge to win, I think it's huge, now I don't always have the content. Now for my podcast I co-host, we always have the content dialed in. We're brainstorming together. Personally, I don't always, like I randomly picked up a Zoom pod track P4 the other day. And so I did a live video and a podcast episode about that, which it wasn't in my plan, but I just wanted to do it because I had it there and, whatever. So I think there's, you can be spontaneous, but everybody I've seen winning in the live streaming game, especially, has like a weekly show. They're showing up. People can expect them there, just like a TV show comes out or your podcast comes out.
Yeah, that's something that I so key, having some type of schedule and becoming part of people's weekly happenings. Like, I know for my YouTube channel and my content, that has been something that has had a tremendous effect on what I do. And I know for a fact that people will keep a lookout for what I post on my regular posting day. And if I don't post it at my normal time, I'll get like a crazy amount of messages saying, "Hey, are you okay? You never miss a Friday night. What's going on?" And I'm like, "Hey, no, everything's all right. It's just, it's going to be up a little late tonight." And even the thing is, within my content, I'm very clear about the schedule. I don't say, "Hey, I upload videos on such and such night," and say, "Hey, this is my schedule." If I do it in a different kind of way, saying, "Hey, welcome to another Friday night. We are here to talk about blah, blah, blah." And then at the end, "Thank you for joining me on another Friday night," and just allow it to be a natural part of the conversation rather than something forced. Because even when I first started, I was trying out different days of the week, and it didn't quite work because people weren't really on that lookout for that content. And then once I got into that rhythm of, let's do this on Fridays, even for people who are going out and having a great time, somehow for one way or the other, they are making sure that they get that content that they are looking for.
Absolutely. I think it's the same. I'm sorry for this hissing. I mean, the heat is on the building, but consistency is key. Just like for your podcast, if you're just putting out a regular episode on your podcast, you come out with a new episode every week and on the same day. And so why should your video or your live stream be any different? So I think that's great advice. What kind of advice would you guys give to a brand new live streamer as far as tech, like a camera? Do you think that they need to go out and get a decent camera, or just basically start off with their phone, really? Because that's what I think. I think if you're new to live streaming, you should be starting off maybe with your phone, unless you do have a webcam or a DSLR, if you have that capability. But yeah, it's like if you do start live streaming and you don't have anything else, I think you could just use your phone.
Yeah. Billy, you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know. Also, if my mic sounds any different, just let me know if the levels are too hot or too quiet.
No, you sound good.
Okay, cool. Anyway, so sorry, I got sidetracked. What was the exact question again? I had it. What would you
okay, the
recommendation for gear. Okay, so John, I completely agree with your position about starting off with what you've got. I think there is definitely something to be said for that. However, at the same time, it's also worthwhile considering people like to look at something that's nice, and people like to have they prefer to watch something, generally speaking, that meets a certain level. However, of course, when you're a little bit newer to the game, people can be more understanding. And then also there's the other part of the discussion, if you're going to continue, because why are you going to invest hundreds of dollars? Because that's kind of the bare minimum. Where, like, say if you get a used camera and then one of those $10 to $15 capture cards for your camera, and then a mic and this and that, like you're not talking about a small little investment here, even if you're doing it on a budget. So is this something that you see that you can do, or that you can continue to use that equipment, even if, for example, you're not doing live streaming? Like, will you be doing video podcasting, or will you be vlogging, or will you be just taking pictures of your kids? Like, for example, I had a customer that I worked with that has a music studio, and he's a tech. He's really talented guy. I'm trying to get him to get on here because he has a lot of amazing information, and he's got an amazing podcast on engineering. But anyway, that's beside the point. And a number of years ago, he was wanting to get into making a video series. But the thing was, he realized video for him was just something that wasn't the right fit. And video, of course, isn't the right fit for everybody. For some people, it's amazing. It's perfect. They can make it work. I know I've had success with it, and I've helped others to have success with that. But for him, it didn't work into his schedule. It didn't work into his workflow. It wasn't the right fit. But he had a kid. So he's taking pictures of his kid and maybe taking pictures of the studio. So even though he's not using the gear how he was intending for his business, he is still getting that usage out of it. So I think that's one of the other questions that you have to answer. Can you make your gear work for you, for your business? And then will you get use out of it some other way? Just to kind of wrap it up there.
I think that that's great advice, because, you know, if you are just starting out in the podcasting or live streaming space, you're not going to want to spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars on new gear when you have a perfectly good working, let's say, iPhone or Samsung or whatever it is, you know, because if you are just starting out and let's say you do your first live stream, you may not like it, you know, and then here you are, you just spent thousands of dollars on new gear, and that kind of hurts, you know. So
well, it especially hurts when so many people who are just getting into it think they have to have the best of the best. They need to have the R5, the R6, and the Elgato Stream Deck and this and whatever, or Black Magic. But really, at the end of the day, I mean, you can get into it, like I was saying, with that $10 to $15 capture card. And I've been really impressed with those. I don't think they're perfect, but for some of the basic needs that a person can have when live streaming, it can really be a great way to get started. And then on top, you can get like a simple little mirrorless Canon camera and have a clean HDMI out, which is perfect. So it just depends on what your needs are, because the thing is, you could also even just use that webcam that's built in your computer or your iPhone.
Exactly. Dimple, how are you? Introduce yourself and tell us about your podcast.
I am good. I'm just sitting here trying to eat lunch. Yeah, my podcast is in the legal industry. I'm interviewing top attorneys from all over the nation, discussing hot topics, and it is also a video format. So, you know, speaking of like technology, the new Mac desktop, you know, has like 1080. So, you know, even though I have a webcam, like last time I didn't even have time to hook it up, so I use that. But I agree, like initially, I don't think you have to like invest a ton of money in so many different things. I think you can start out using what you have and then use, you know, like platforms like StreamYard. And there's a couple of others. And I think, you know, just try to do it on a budget until you can, you know, build it up, and then you can get more advanced.
I think actually you just, sorry, Billy, just one last thing just to pop in here. there's something that I think is worth considering, and looking what's happening on TV in the past year or so with newscasters. There are so many these days that are on their webcams from home. It's an unbelievable amount of people. And we're talking about live broadcast television.
Yes.
So, hey, if it's working for them, why can't it work for you? But anyway, sorry to cut you off there, Billy.
No, you're good. I was just gonna chime in again. I think we've all kind of said the same thing, so I won't repeat it too much. But another reason, I started live streaming, straight from my iPhone onto Facebook Live, and people know how to use their phones. They know how to use the technology they carry around with them every day, and so I think when you're starting anything, it's sure you want to. I'm a nerdy techie dude, so for me it's just a natural thing for me to evolve into a more complicated setup, for lack of a better term. But I think if you're interested in live streaming, it's definitely, don't make that part complicated, because talking into a camera, and I worked for 10 years for somebody and produced their television show and did everything, all the media stuff for them. And it was intimidating when I went to start to do it, because I was like, man, I'm not as good as that person. And so there was like a lot of head stuff to figure out, before I was even figuring out tech stuff. And so, even I, being a tech guy, coming from that TV, producer role, editor, all that kind of stuff, I still started out with a camera, because I knew, like, I don't want to get bogged down in the weeds with all the gear. I want to figure out, how do I become a better presenter on camera? And I think it's, like, make the process easy for yourself. Like, the beauty of it, if you're on episode 1 or live stream number 1, who cares if it looks like crap? Who cares if 50 shows in you look like, it'll get better. But be sure to produce great content, and even over video, even over having great video, just have really great content. And little tip to make your video look better: you'd rather look up to your camera than down to your camera. Like, that's one thing I will say. Like, lift your laptop up or your iPhone, put it on a tripod, do something like stack it up on some books, get it more eye level or even above you a little bit. It's just a better shot. I've seen so many nostrils in 2020. I've looked up a lot of noses in the past 12 months. So that's the one tip I have, just to immediately make your live stream more enjoyable for the rest of the world.
I think that's great advice, Billy, because I don't think anybody wants to be looking up anybody's nose. But
and just one other quick little thing that an individual can do to make sure that they're getting the best out of their simple camera is to just have some, like, to be in a nicely lit room, and you can really make a huge difference, especially with these built-in cameras, when it doesn't have to push and try to get the ISO really high and becomes a really noisy. Sorry, I'm losing my English here. A noisy and really dirty image. Just having a lamp in front of you, even if it's not pointed directly at you, but maybe you're bouncing that wall off of bouncing the light off of a white wall behind the camera or something, so it just becomes a little bit more full and wraps around you. There's a lot of these little tricks, and even you can get some video lights that are really cheap on Amazon. No, they're not perfect, but yes, they get the job done, especially when you're getting started, and you can get in for, say, 30 to 60 well, you guys are American, so dollars, and even maybe just one of those little mini ring lights, but those definitely have their problems because they're so small, they don't put out so much light, but just, it's a shocking difference, a little bit of light.
Yeah, a little bit of light will go a long way, I think. I think if you have because right now I stream on an HD 1080p webcam, and I look pretty good, I think. I look pretty decent. But that's because I have lights around my studio. I actually have studio lights, and I've tweaked everything to how I want it to look. And, I've messed with the camera settings in OBS. And so, but lighting is a huge factor in a live stream or in a vodcast. And, so that is one thing that's really important to be aware of. Now, let's get a little bit more advanced right now, guys. What kind of software are you using to stream? Because what I do is I open up OBS and I set up a scene in OBS, and I fix my camera and everything on OBS, and then I use a what the hell's the name of it? I'm sorry. Virtual cam to then stream into StreamYard, and that's what I use to stream out to the masses. What do you guys usually do?
So I'm a Mac user, and so there's a software called Ecamm Live. Been using it for 2, maybe 3 years, and I mean it's amazing. Like you can set it up, broadcast quality as far as like setting up scenes, B-roll footage. I mean, like literally, I live stream YouTube videos and present product and all that. And I got, of course, once again, I've invested over the last several years. So I have multiple cameras and I can hook my phone into it and all that kind of stuff. And so, I can kind of switch to these live shots. But yeah, I love Ecamm Live. I mean, they do a fantastic job as far as, interview mode and everything. And just, I can literally send you guys a link right now. You can click on the link, you come into my green room, and then I just set you up in a scene, or preset the scene and just assign you, to that scene and bring you in. I mean, there's a lot of amazing things that would take this whole afternoon to talk about. But yeah, I love Ecamm Live. And then another quick tip for you guys, on your phone, there's an app. I think it's like maybe $20. I can't remember, but it's called Filmic Pro. That's FILMIC Pro. And you can, for Ecamm, I can plug my phone right in and it shows whatever's on my computer, but you can adjust the ISO, the app, you can adjust everything in there. So talking about those different lighting, sources and adjustments, you can adjust that, the autofocus, like you can adjust the focus and everything, just like you could a DSLR camera. So that might be, for some people, there's apps out there as well to get, a little better quality video. And then just to talk a little bit about the lighting thing, go find a window to sit in front of, during a sunny day. That's an easy one.
Yeah, I think actually, Billy, you raised an amazing point there that not enough people take into consideration. You mentioned it very, very quickly, but building up over a number of years, you don't have to buy everything all at once. And sometimes it's actually better to not buy everything at once because you see what it is that you need. And over time, you realize what kind of works into your workflow. But for me personally, I've actually started dropping out of live streaming just because I feel as though my time can be spent better in other ways. But for when I've been doing live streaming, I actually, I'm also on a Mac. And I haven't had a whole lot of luck with OBS just because it bogs down my computer. But Streamlabs OBS, for whatever reason, it's based on OBS, but it's just from a different, it's from a company that's put their own kind of special sauce on it. And so that's worked much better for me. Or just going direct, and especially on Instagram, like that's really the only way you can go live is through your camera. And if you do find another way of going live, which has existed in the past, but some of those services have been blocked, I would be very wary of doing it because it can go against their terms of service, right? And you can get banned for sending a stream off to Instagram from, say, your computer, like you're streaming through your DSLR or whatever, or just go direct to Facebook. It depends on what your needs are, because sometimes you need to have some of those overlays because you're presenting information and you have something already set up ahead of time. Or it could be that you're just needing to do a quick little connect with your community, and having the sidebar chat is good enough.
Absolutely. Start off slow. Raphael said it great. Start off slow, build up, because if you buy everything all at once, you never know who, maybe one piece of equipment may not work out for your needs. You never know. So
I'm under the firm belief that, and I'm kind of contrary to that notion that you should put your best foot forward. If you're serious enough to sit down and take the time to go through and live stream properly, you might as well have everything set up right. When I'm going to go into someone's live stream, if it looks like dog shit or sounds like dog shit, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm not going to watch it. I feel like you should put, and this stuff isn't super expensive. I mean, you could get a nice little webcam like a Logitech C920 or whatever. Streamlabs is free. By the way, Raphael, good recommendation there. Streamlabs kills OBS. It is so much easier to use. There's so much resources out there. All the streamers on Twitch use it. There's all kinds of overlays. Anything you could ever want to do in OBS that makes you want to pound your head into the wall, you can do very easily on Streamlabs. Anyway, I'm just saying that, dude, put forth the best possible representation of yourself and your product that you can right away, especially if you're going to have stuff be archived. You have a nice kind of brand image of yourself. This is me. This is what I do. This is what I look like, rather than kind of this, little trail of getting better and better and better. If you just put your best face forward right away, I think that gives the best first impression that you can possibly have to people up front. And you don't have to worry about people going, oh, well, this guy isn't professional. It doesn't sound good. Obviously, you can have great content and that can overcome a few things. I always thought there was 3 things. And I've helped a lot of people on Twitch get their stuff set up with overlays and stuff like that. You can have, and this is Twitch specifically, but it kind of relates. You can be really good at the game. You can have great personality, and you can have great production value. And you need 2 of those 3 things, I think. You can have bad production value, but great personality, and you're good at the game. But that will make up for the fact that you don't have good production value. Or you can have great production value, and you can have a great personality, but maybe you're not good at the game. So there's these different kind of variables that you can have 2 of the 3, but not 1 of the 3. So I always think that production value is a good thing to start with. You want to make sure that you have that so you don't turn anybody off.
I think though you have to be very careful with that, because you have to be careful of which of those 2 of the 3, because always you need the personality and the content. It can't survive without that. It can look great, but if you're just sitting there, oh, I don't know what I've got to say. What do you guys think? Like, what do you want to talk about? People get bored. I know I've jumped off of streams like that. You have to, this is going back to what we were talking about before. Like, you need to have something in mind when you're going into it.
Oh, 100%. You can't give somebody an empty plate if they're hungry. That's never going to work.
Do you think people are more forgiving if you sound like crap, but you look good?
No.
I think
If I turn on a
audio-
podcast or a blog or anything and it looks like crap, I just turn it off. There's so much content out there. There's so many people trying to do this. There's so many people. I mean, it is absolutely a dripping sponge, right? There's so much out there that you need to do things to set yourself apart. If it sounds like crap, I'll just go find something that doesn't. I don't want to be turning the volume up in my car, up and down. I don't want to be on my computer while I'm working with a live stream up, kind of paying attention, being like, I can't hear that. And you're swapping back and forth, turn the volume up and down, or you can't. There's too much out there where you can just switch to something else. You can just swap to something that doesn't suck.
And there have been a number of studies that have been done, if I'm not mistaken, that actually have taken information from people, and not taken from them directly, but have looked at what people end up preferring. And you can definitely get away with not such a great camera quality, but fantastic audio, but vice versa, just somehow doesn't work for anybody.
Yeah, because if people are listening to crap, they automatically want to turn it off. So no matter how good
there's a certain point where it just becomes uncomfortable, physically uncomfortable.
Right. There's only certain things that hurt your eyes, right? Something could look bad, but it doesn't make you feel pain. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if something sounds bad, it can agitate you for sure.
But Chris, I'm sorry we didn't get the chance to introduce you. Why don't you introduce yourself in your show?
Sure. I have an automotive podcast. We've kind of shifted into being more of like a transportation podcast. We have around 350,000 downloads a year. We kind of fluctuate in between like 10 and 20 in our category in terms of rank, sometimes a little bit higher. I'm an automotive journalist. I write for a bunch of different automotive publications. I'm a writer. I'm also a filmmaker. I work for Porsche and some other brands.
Wow, Porsche. Nice. Love them.
Anyways, guys, it's been great. John, thanks so much for making a room like this. And if you ever do this again, definitely ping me, because I would love to be a part of it. But I have got to go get some work done because it's pretty late here in Italy and I've still not finished with my day yet. So
absolutely, Raphael. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Hey, John. Thanks, man. I'm gonna split too. Hate to jump on the. See you.
It's
see you
funny
later
because
bandwagon, but-
I'm about to shut the room down anay, so it's like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's coming up on the 45 minutes, so I'm
Later,
I
yeah.
gotta go. But
Awesome, man. See you.
all right, Billy, thank you. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Dimple, Chris. I really appreciate your input, and thank you very much for speaking, Dimple. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
But all right, everybody, keep an eye out, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. All right, so that wasn't so bad. That was, I think, maybe the second or third room I ever hosted in my life, and it turned out pretty good. But yeah, so all right, everybody. If you're not following me on Clubhouse, then give me a search and give me a follow. It's at Vodcast, and yeah, so head on over to your podcast listening platform. I just dropped an episode with Perez Hilton today, and he tells us all about how to market your podcast for monetization right off the bat, and just a whole bunch of stuff. We talk social media, we talk marketing, we talk monetization, just everything. It was a good episode. He was a great guy, so down to earth. He was funny. I had a great time. But all right, everybody, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.